I think we should all be concerned about our money. But unfortunately, most people never even consider the value of money.
We use it every day. We work our whole lives for it. But how much do Americans really know about U.S. money?
By and large, money is a topic that's just left undiscussed.
How is it made? Who controls how much is made? And why?
You know what? I have no idea.
I don't know nothing about it.
What makes a bill worth more than the paper it's printed on?
Because of the gold, I don't know.
No, you
Fort Knox. Used to be. I have no idea now.
And does anyone even notice whose faces grace the very bills we see and spend every day? Do you know who's pictured on the $50 bill?
Is it Quincy Adams?
Lincoln.
No, it's Jackson. Lincoln.
Grant.
Yeah.
There's really a great deal that's unknown about money and the complex process that goes into creating it. A process involving the coordinated teamwork of some of the most highly secure organizations in the country. They say when you have it, money sure goes quickly. But the Bureau of Engraving and Printing is making money even faster than you could spend it.
This coming year we'll produce almost 9 billion notes, which comes out to just about $500 million in face value every day of the year.
We produced about 600,000 sheets per day.
The Bureau of Engraving and Printing, or the BEP, started in 1877 as a 6-person operation in the basement of the Department of the Treasury. Today, the BEP employs more than 2,500 moneymakers between the building in Washington, D.C. and the facility in Fort Worth, Texas. Combined, these facilities employ artists, chemists, engineers, and craftspeople using everything from old-world traditional printing techniques to specialized high-tech equipment to produce the most coveted currency on the planet.
For most of us, as we come in here every day, we see that money, and it really doesn't seem like money to us. It's just product. If you've worked here for more than a couple weeks and it still looks like money, it's probably not the best place for you to work.
Look at it how you want, as a product or as a prized possession. But one thing you'll notice is the face of money as we know it is in the middle of a major change. For the first time in most of our memories, the U.S. is introducing colored money with the Next Generation 20.
United States currency is a very traditional currency. In fact, since 1928, the currency has looked virtually the same. We only change our currency when we have a threat to it from counterfeiting and have a way of introducing new security features.
In addition to the obvious color change, the new colored 20 is chock full of new security features.
It's the most secure note that we have ever issued.
And though the colors may take a little getting used to, the note still holds the look and the feel, the confidence and security that Americans will recognize the first time they touch one. For a chance to sneak a peek at the making of the most secure bill in history, go back to the bill's beginnings. The buck starts here. What we touch, spend, borrow, and vend every day actually begins as art. Welcome to the BEP's engraving section in Washington, the first and most controversial part of the money-making process. Here, engravers such as veteran Thomas Hipshin design and redesign separate parts of the masterpiece.
I'm a banknote picture engraver. I've worked at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing now for 34 years.
One of the Bureau's most accomplished engravers, you'll see Hipshin's work on just about every bill out there.
I did the portraits on the $20 bill, the $50 bill, and the $100 bill, and the $5 bill.
It's a painstakingly detailed process that takes longer than most would ever imagine.
A really fine line, large-size portrait will take anywhere from 300 to 500 hours to engrave.
Banknote designer Bill Krasowitz has spent the last 2.5 years designing the next-gen $20 bill.
And you would think, gosh, it's just a 2.5 by 6-inch rectangle. How could you possibly work on something that long? But we have so many tests that we have to run, and it also has to look aesthetically pleasing.
As the result of an act of Congress, our once traditional currency is now experiencing an evolution never before seen in the U.S.
When I tell people what I do, their first reaction is usually, well, the currency doesn't change. What are you doing? You're just sitting around. And no, with the new congressional legislation, the currency is going to change every 7 to 10 years.
Next comes the 50, then the 100, and so on. But just because our currency is changing doesn't mean that artists have a blank slate on which to create.
We don't really have a total free hand to redesign things the way we would really want them to be.
Pick up a bill and notice the wisp of Jackson's hair or the collar on Grant's coat. These finer points were all fought for and chosen under serious scrutiny.
When the Andrew Jackson note first came out, people thought he sort of had a bad hair day and it was just too romantic and everything. So I did another version and he was kind of, you know, he was a war hero, he was wounded, he was kind of a crusty character, and I got all of that in his portrait and people hate it.
In addition to the art are security features. Originally created by cut and paste methods on the art table, the future of currency design employs proprietary software.
And this machine is really great because, I mean, I can zoom in so close, beyond 500,000%. So it gets you so close, it's actually uncomfortable.
Whether techniques are traditional or computerized, the finished pieces must stand the test of time and be pleasing to the eyes of the world's toughest art critic, the everyday American.
It's passed through the hands of millions of Americans, so I see it as a privilege to be here.
The first step in a unique process known as intaglio printing, these individual engravings are etched, transferred, and assembled as one image. Before securing it to the 200-year-old press, the image must be spotless.
There's a little dirt in his forehead.
Under the high pressures of up to 25 tons, one tiny piece of lint could destroy the entire portrait.
Now, I may go over this roll 200 times.
Once this image is perfected, photo engravers add numbers and icons. In pre-press, art is then checked to make sure it's flawless for printing.
Designers have great ideas and artistic talents, but they're not always privy to what the press conditions can handle.
So artwork is manipulated, molded, and assembled onto plates. Treasury and Federal Reserve seals are added by the high-tech electrode discharge machine. And if the plate is up to par, it's off to press.
This facility here actually produces 54% of the nation's currency litter, and we're very proud of that.
On the new next-generation currency, subtle background colors were added to make it more secure. But introducing new offset colors required an additional printing process and an expansion to the Fort Worth facility.
The primary reason for the expansion was to incorporate new presses, new simultan offset presses. Simultan is that it simultaneously produces a face and a back, and it's an offset press that incorporates color.
Below churns the massive simultan press. One of 24 monster presses, blank paper is loaded into the huge machine sheet by sheet, printing 10,000 sheets per hour.